Tensions ran high Friday night at a packed town hall meeting in George Town Exuma, where Yntegra outlined its proposed $200 million investment for East Sampson Cay. The presentation drew a large crowd of concerned Bahamians, many of whom pressed for answers on the proposed dredging tied to the project. Residents raised pointed questions about environmental risks, transparency, and the long-term impact on Exuma's fragile marine ecosystem. Organizers acknowledged the growing public pressure, and this is why public consultations were scheduled. Opposition to dredging remains strong across the island, with many residents insisting that any development must protect Exuma's natural resources. The meeting ended with a chorus of frustrated voices chanting, "No dredging, no dredging," underscoring the community's deep concerns.
So I have a question. My name is Lisa Brown. This question is for the applicants, if that's okay. So, sir, you mentioned that you want to work with locals, correct? Correct?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So, what are some of the opportunities that will be available for entrepreneurs and small business owners? Can you please go a little bit further with that?
A project like this is going to create a lot of opportunities for businesses, small businesses. We already have seen what has happened in Blackpool. Blackpool is very different than what it was 4 years ago, and I envision it to be very different in the next 4 years, 10 years. We're going to collaborate with local businesses.
Continue, please. Continue, please.
We're going to collaborate with local businesses. We're going to collaborate with them on our staff village. We're going to collaborate with local businesses across the different keys, not only Blackpool, even though Blackpool is one of the closest communities to Samson Cay.
For Mr. McLean, you mentioned 1.2 billion over 20 years. How much is that per year?
Say that a question, please.
You said 1.2 billion over 20 years. Is that the net profit of your
That's the
business?
economic impact that has been measured about the project over the course of the next 12 years.
Year?
You have to divide that over on 20, someone can do that easy. 600.
600. So how many persons do you propose to bring in with 33 rooms and 40 villas? That's about 1 million people or so that will be coming in.
No. We're gonna have 200. We're gonna employ 250 people.
Well, I said unless these.
Thank you.
I have a ton
This-
of questions to ask.
This gentleman right here in the blue, you have a question?
The questions I have to ask will you be offering attractions there we can participate, such as diving and fishing for your guests?
All of the excursions and the different attractions will be visited with locals and operated by locals.
We all depend on that body of water that you want to dredge it. And we here to say, we don't want no dredging. We here to say, stop the dredging and find the next alternative route.
Thank you for bringing that subject. So, Rosewood Exuma, so that everyone knows, has one of the smallest dredging footprints of any major outline development, not by accident, by design. Let me explain our proposed dredging plan and establish what is the real total dredge across all the areas. The total is 2.28 acres. As you can see, this number inclusive of the service dock, which represents only 1.26 acres. I want you guys to see this slide, which makes a very easy comparable about the different projects currently happening or that are well known by you guys here in the Exuma. Let's talk about Torch Key. 74 acres. We have Norman's Key with 14 acres. We have Highborn Key with 5 acres. We have Over Yonder with 5 acres, our neighbors, by the way. Bell Island, that also probably you guys have heard of, 4.7 acres. And Rosewood Exuma, only 2.20 acres.
What's your first and last name, sir?
John Miller, Samson Cay Exuma, Samson Cay Adventures. Okay. I want to point out that high-end marinas already exist, as you pointed as well. What I want to know is, what are you going to deliver that is so definitively different that these already existing ones that's going to dramatically change the quality of life in Exumas? Followed by, with all the amenities and proposed things listed that you said just now that would exist on your proposed resort, what reason is there to encourage your potential guests to directly pump financial benefits into the existing communities around? Followed by the proposed 260, now 260, originally 390-foot breakwater. How do you think that will affect the very nearby healthy reef as well as turtle grass and seagrass and aquatic environment directly located in the path of that? Next, I want to follow that you mentioned the people that left the Bahamas for better opportunities. What can you assure me that you can offer that would entice these people to come back to the Bahamas? Because quite frankly, landscaping, service jobs, bartenders is not.
Okay, thank you.
As a local guy in Exuma Keys, going around, you've been there for quite a while. Our question to you is, you dive that area, you drive that area, you're a captain for years. Which would be younger guys from Exuma Keys, either with cash and the other guy who's there from the side. You older than us. Do we have a clear path that we are messing with the seagrass or the reef around? What Yntegra trying to do, or straightforward is nothing there for them to mess around with the seabed?
For more than 25 years, running the waters of the Bahamas. I was on the Royal Bahamas Defense Force for 11 years, and there's no island in the Bahamas I've never been. I've traveled the entire Caribbean running tug and barge for more than 6 years, and that's a 150-foot tug and a 400-foot barge. So there's no harbor in the Caribbean or the Bahamas that I've never been. Because what I heard the guys was talking about in Black Point the other day, I want to get a better understanding of the stretching that they were talking about. So what I did was I had Mr. Roll pull me along the channel behind a small boat so I can get at low tide, so I can see how deep the water was. Then he was pulling me behind the boat. There are three things I was looking for. If there were any conch in the area, if there were any turtle in the area, and how deep the water was. We found 5 conch. I didn't see any turtle.
With respect, I am going to ask if we can answer more continue the meeting. If not, I'm going to have to get the police involved.
They don't have to address it, they understand.
Good afternoon again. Theodore Martin, I heard that we're in terms of dredging and the plans to move forward. What I didn't hear you mention is there any way that locals could buy into the shares? Or if not shares, if locals could buy in one, I think we should have opportunity to buy into it one. If not, we'll just keep the reason why not. I might invest. So, that's not a question. There's indirect ways of have ownership in the project, which I would like to go into detail. Okay? The heart of the house, like Mr. McLean explained, is the area where there are a number of businesses established inside the key, inside the Rosewood Exuma property, which will not be operated by the developer or by Rosewood. They're independent businesses, okay, that will be serving the Rosewood property. Our goal, and we believe the community is better served by offering the opportunity for young people, for entrepreneurs, for small business owners to be part, and in a way, that is part ownership, because the business
Can you please stop? I asked you that multiple times. The next time I'm gonna have to get the police involved.
the businesses that are going to be operated inside the heart of the house will be independently owned by Bahamians, not by the developer, not by Rosewood.
what are the questions you want us to ask? Because it seems like the questions what the persons are asking, you saying that they don't have the answer to it. You understand? See, because this is gonna bring them parking. So much. You understand? To say how this is gonna impact locals, not inside your hotel. And stuff. Officer, the keys. The locals around the keys. The keys.
So can you please allow me to finish?
Also, I want to know, I saw I made a statement earlier in reference to the dredging, and he moved from dredging to land size. He started talking with different land size. He wasn't talking no more with the dredging part. You see, they still didn't answer that question.
Thank you.
Okay, and another thing, the weight, hold on, the base. The base, we need to know where this base is gonna be going. When, because there could be a lot of base.
Understood, so
Wastewater treatment plant that we're planning for, it'll be an MBR treatment, membrane reactor, which is a high-tech process that blends both biological and membrane filtration. The idea behind that is we'll collect as much waste, run it through the plant, and then we'll store the treated effluent and reuse that for irrigation. So that's where we'll be limiting the amount of waste that goes to landfill.
Thank you.
The problem is not that Philippe development. The problem is dredging. That's the only problem. And the North Bay, common life, we take tourists there, snorkeling, doing that. That's a very, very, very important section in our Exuma Cays. So for me, I rethink that. I think there shouldn't be no dredging in that North Bay. Period.
The problem, but maybe let's talk about the service dock location. Okay? The service dock must be adjacent to the service area. Fuel waste management, generators, deliveries, and daily logistics cannot safely, realistically be separated from the dock or placed on steep or unstable terrain. They require flat, accessible land. So the real question is not why the dock is there. Mr. Gary, I'm speaking to you. So the real question is not why the dock is there, but why the service area is there. If you can see here, we review the key with 4 realities in mind: terrain, safety, environment, and operational requirement. So I'm going to call Javier so you can explain the reason why we have the service area there and why the service dock needs to be there. And you can start with the red zone and move around.
This area is not truly connected to the northern port of the key by stable land. What appears as a connection is essentially a narrow stretch of sand, shown in this chart with a black circle. It is not solid ground, it is not stable terrain, and it is definitely not capable of supporting any type of infrastructure, utilities, or service traffic. Access to this area requires a small bridge. And to be clear, that bridge is not designed for heavy trucks, fuel delivery, or construction equipment. It is suitable for golf carts and small utility vehicles only. That alone makes the sound
Can we
unsuitable.
please not, please, can we please not, but I can hear you, that means other people can hear you. That's all I'm asking for respect. Thank you.
That alone makes the sound unsuitable for a service area. And even if a larger bridge were considered, the southern portion borders the Key's primary beaches, some of the most valuable natural and guest experience assets of the island. Placing fuel, generators, waste systems, or service traffic there would be incompatible with environmental stewardship and with the standards of luxury hospitality. The purple zone, the resort area. The resort is located here because it is the only area large enough for the resort bungalows and amenities, and it sits near the North Marina, the primary arrival point for future guests. Placing a service yard in the middle of a luxury resort would compromise the guest experience and the long-term success of the operation. But even if we set aside the hospitality logic for a moment and evaluate the idea purely from a land use perspective, the central area still cannot support a service zone. The topography here is not flat. This is a hill with contour lines at 20 and 30 feet. It would require major cutting and reshaping of the land, creating disruption, land scarring, and stability concerns. The blue zone, the eastern zone. This terrain is raw and elevated, with elevations of 50 and 60 feet in several sections. No responsible plan places fuel storage, generators, or mechanical infrastructure on steep, elevated terrain. The safety risks alone make it unthinkable. Beyond that, the logistical challenges of transporting materials, equipment, and daily supplies of steep terrain would be impractical and costly. This area is not suitable for service operations under any scenario. And lastly, the northern flat area, the green zone. This is the only area that meets all criteria. It is 8 to 10 acres, mostly flat, suitable for utilities, storage, staff housing, and operations. It is also naturally buffered by higher terrain to the east. Therefore, the service area must be there and the service dock must be adjacent to it. This is not preference. It is the only configuration that is safe, functional, and responsible.
I'm not sure why Mr. McLean called. My name is Eric Alfred-Perry. I'm the CEO of One Consultants. I'm not sure why Mr. McLean called my name, but I can respond to that. I do understand what you've explained. You've selected the most difficult, incompatible island to develop. Now you have to depend on people like my good friend Kevin to try and find impossible solutions to destroy a pristine island to make your dream work. I sympathize with you. You put yourself in a difficult position. This development shouldn't be here for all the reasons you've identified. I wanted to get back to density.
I just want to remind you, you have a name.
I was only reading, he called my name. I didn't ask him to call me. I'm just responding to him. Now to my question, Mr. Chairman, but the acting director. Last week, you raised a point about, I asked a question about density, and I described this project as monstrous, destructive, unprecedented. I don't care what Mr. McLean says about this being sustainable, low density. More than 100 buildings on the acreage he has described is extreme density. Madam Chair, Madam Acting Director, since you made that.
Thank you.
No, I have not finished my point.
I actually started the time to get
Can we go to the next question? I just want the record to reflect that all of your concerns with the hospital are recorded. So I'm going to actually respect the process. Sure. So I'm asking you to respect people that respect people. Can we go to the next question?
No. Hear about a new development. The instinct is to compare it to something familiar. But in the Exumas, we don't have many projects that serve as a true reference. So it's easy to compare this project to the wrong reference. At the end of the spectrum, you have a very large, all-inclusive resort like Sandals, clearly not an appropriate comparison for a low-density, luxury out-island property. At the other end, you have a single-owner private island, which also aren't meaningful comparisons because they operate under entirely different economic and operational models. What the community deserves is a clear and factual comparison of how the proposed density of the Rosewood Exuma aligns with other outer island developments? Are you looking at something above average, below average, or in line with established projects that have proven both viable and respectful of the surroundings? Let's look at this. Here are 7 outer island projects.
What type of circumstance would it produce or break if local Bahamian were to break irrefutable evidence of wrongdoings by foreign direct investments? That's my first question. What circumstances or what impact would it have on town planning to make decisions if Bahamians could prove that there's multiple corruption and wrong business practice going on by foreign direct investors?
Ask me some questions. I'm gonna answer you. Ask me some questions.
I was hoping you would answer before the question.
No, because once I'm done, that's it. We go to the next question.
My other question is, I'm not a seaman. I don't claim to be a seaman. All of us here enjoy the marine life of the Bahamas. I see that area every day. I work in that area, I see the area every day. And I'm not a seaman, but there's no way a boat in the draft that they need to send through that channel.
All right, sorry. Thank you so much. For the benefit of everyone that wishes to speak, if there are continued outbursts, we're going to have to end this meeting early, which I wish not to do. So I'm asking, to answer your question, I just wanted to be completely understood that we have a very small remit in terms of what we have an overview on. Where there's foreign direct investment, that person or that development has to go through the Bahamas Investment Authority. They have to get the relevant approvals. If there's anything illegal, whether it's from a foreign direct investor or whether it's from a Bahamian, that comes to our attention, we report it to the authorities and allow the authorities to do it. Because that is not within our remit.
With her. Some describe this area as calm enough for swimmers, snorkels, and paddlers, while others describe it as routinely unsafe due to extreme swells and currents. Both descriptions cannot be true at the same time. So let's anchor this discussion with measured data. This area should be described for what really is: a waterway, a navigable marine corridor used for controlled vessel traffic. As you can see from the slide, the service dock has 2 navigable access routes, one through over yonder cut, and the second one through the west. The bathymetric surveys show natural depths in key access zones and the proposed entrance channel in the range of approximately 7 to 12 feet in the mid-lower low water, including 10 feet within the entrance footprint, which is roughly 120 to 150 feet of the shore. This is not a passage invented from nothing. It is an existing corridor or waterway which will be enhanced with minimum targeted dredging and a jetty breakwater to further reduce exposure and improve predictability. I would like to show you also a short video of the BB-Cat barge accessing the North Channel, all the way to the point to the access to where our service dock will be located, and where the dredging will approximately begin to provide access to the dock. Let me video. Thank you. North A is not off limits to progress. With responsible engineering and control operations, it can serve as a safe, limited traffic gateway to service logistics without unnecessary alternatives that will cause greater disruption. During our process, we have done numerous navigability assessments with local captains. As you can see from these pictures, with Captain Gregory Adderley that is here with us today, Dwight Rowe that is here with us, Gerald Rowe, he's again, and Thurgus Black. All of them have held certified license of between 200 and 500 tons. In addition, Captain Linton Ritchie from Salt Petroleum Bahamas Limited, a Bahamian captain and master mariner of international standards. Captain Ritchie has over 30 years of experience doing fuel delivery in the Bahamas and in the Exuma. He wanted to be here today, but was unable to attend due to previous engagement. Captain Ritchie has confirmed he would have no issues, absolutely no issues, delivering fuel and accessing our proposed service dock as presented to all of you here today.
President of Exuma, I live about 3 miles from here, and the proprietor of Turtle Grass. I handed out a flyer. First of all, that's 10 acres of dredging, not one, as he explained earlier. You can get out Google Maps, maybe you can use it better than their engineers, but they are completely inaccurate with their numbers. There's been no study of the dredging of the bay. So I handed out pictures with people standing in there. There's hundreds of conch in that bay. It's a combination of Jolly Hall and just one of the most beautiful bays in Exuma, and they want it destroyed. I have a lot more I could have said.
Thank you. But I respond something that we pull out from the Save Exuma Alliance website, where they claim that we're going to dredge the passage here, 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 here. That's all a lie. The permit and the CEC allows only dredging here, just to the access of here. And this is from the Save Exuma Alliance website. They mislead the people all the time, and they make them believe that we're dredging all of this, creating this smear campaign to us, which is a complete lie.
Very much so. Work permits during construction and during the management forum, work permit after the resorts open.
That's a great question. We made 3 separate proposals in good faith to reduce any potential or perceived impact and address the concerns of our neighbors. The slide shows you the 3 different proposals and their locations. The first proposal to our neighbor was in a location that was closer to the neighbor. It had the smallest dredging and breakwater footprint, environmentally efficient and operationally straightforward. The neighbor raised concerns about proximity. We listened. We then moved the dock to approximately 1,200 feet away from the neighbor, about 140% farther from the property line than before. This was a major redesign with major cost implications. It also required a larger seawall for protection due to more open ocean exposure. The neighbor was not satisfied again. We listened. Proposal number 3. This brought us to our third proposal, the one presented tonight, which includes a reduced dock, a reduced breakwater, a reduced dredging footprint, and the dock remains at the farther location established in proposal number 2. This is the most refined, most environmentally sensitive, and most community responsive version we have proposed. Across all 3, our intent has been consistent: to listen our neighbor, adapt in the community, adapt and seek balance. While we respect different viewpoints, the community deserves to know we made multiple serious efforts to accommodate concerns and improve the plan, even at a significant cost to our development.